Warning: the following broadcast features thoughts, ideas, and opinions you might find offensive. If you're easily angered, insulted, hurt, provoked, outraged, or annoyed, the following may offend you. The views expressed in this show are solely those of the individuals providing them and do not reflect the opinions of YouTube or Google. So please, don't flag this video. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry if let us know if we're too loud. I'm just adjusting that now.
Oh, yeah.
And I see we have some haters in here. Do you see that, Vicky? We already have 2 thumbs down.
No.
So that means 2 people obviously came over from social media. Hello. Thanks for the engagement. If it's thumbs up or thumbs down, both does the same. I don't know if you knew that. So welcome.
Yay, thank you.
Thanks for the holiday spirit. Oh, so funny. Hi everyone. We'll just wait for the chat to catch up, I think. Hi everyone. How's everyone going? Let us know if the volume's okay. We're doing something a little bit different today. Sorry, I'm getting so many notifications pop up because I'm using a different streaming service. So please let me know if there's any issues with volume or anything like that. Yes, yay.
Watch this note that you both sound good. Yay.
That's what we want to hear. Okay.
Success. All right, we can end the stream.
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
We went live successfully. Good, done.
So today we're doing a holiday special. And we're doing Jack Frost, which is 1997, not the 1998 one, but I've got some notes about that one as well. I haven't seen it actually. And we're talking about Christmas Evil from 1980. How does everyone feel about them in the chat? I would love to know. I haven't really picked Vicky's brains yet. We like to try and keep it so we have something to talk about on the Yeah.
It's so easy to start talking about it beforehand, but
yeah, especially Christmas Evil, because there's just so much in that. I'm so excited. So where do we want to start? What are you thinking?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Do we want to leave it up to the chat? Do we have emojis?
Yeah, I'm sure we can
snowman?
do. Yep, there's definitely a snowman. Yeah, I guess we can do the Santa or the snowman.
Oh yeah.
Let's find them to make it easier.
Easy peasy.
By the time we find them, everyone's already found
Somebody
them.
will have already found them.
I wish there was.
So snowman,
yeah.
Frost.
I hate when there's not a search emoji feature. I find that so much easier.
Thank you. I know. There's Santa.
Oh, you got it? Mine's struggling.
Oh man. Bam.
Oh yeah, there you go. Vicky. Okay, so use which one that you guys want to start with. Or just use one for fun anyway, if you don't care. It's just fun to use emojis. We're all about that kind of life. And
Let us know.
I'm going to be hell tricky now. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So like. And click the bell. And of course, I'm sure everyone knows Vicky, but all of her information, I know we say this usually to the end, but all of the information on, hopefully, is in the down bar. I think it is. Yes, it's in the down bar. All her YouTube and Twitter and stuff like that. So make sure you're following Vicky. And we'll get into it. What are we doing? Snowman's everywhere.
Yeah, it looks like Jack Frost.
Yeah, I think DC Carter kind of cheated a little bit, and Kate, but we'll go with it. Okay.
Everyone's super excited about Jack Frost, I guess.
Yeah,
okay.
Which I don't know why, but.
Really quick, if this happens to be your first Does This Offend You stream, spoiler warning. We're going to go into the spoilers for both movies, so I think most of you guys are used to it by now, but just in case, we're going to go into it. Okay, so this is the Jack Frost from 1997, not to be confused with the one from 1998, which we'll get in, we'll mention a little bit in depth. But so a year prior, 1987. Thank you, DC Carter, for your blood.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you.
Just saw it.
Sorry, I'm having weird notifications pop up and tell me with different things, and this is all a new world for me, so I'm excited. Thank you, DC.
Thank you. Okay, so this Jack Frost follows notorious serial killer Jack Frost, who is being driven to his execution when the truck carrying the murderer encounters a very bizarre accident that transforms him into a mutant snowman. Enter Sheriff Sam Tyler. Is that his last name? I don't really know. Who caught the psychopath originally and who has remained concerned about his return. And it seems that his fears are well founded because before long, bodies start piling up, all killed in gruesome, wintry ways as Jack gets his revenge on the officer who caught him.
Yeah. It's the most. It's absolutely the most. This is obviously not the first time you've seen Jack Frost, I assume, Vicky?
No.
Yeah.
It is not. Thank you for the blood sacrifices, Edward, and
sorry, I totally
Jake.
didn't see that. Thank you so much. Oh, it just came through. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Spooky. I don't know if you know about Possessed by Horror. Yes, I do know. I know her personally, actually. Sorry, I'm trying to pull them up. It's a little bit. Do you know about Possessed by Horror? It's up to you both and release the same. Yeah, it's actually a collab. It was a collab. We mention each other in the videos. I don't know if you caught that when we spoke about each other. We've actually met in person too. But yes, no, that was all planned. But thank you so much for your blood sacrifice, and thank you as well to Edward, pair character doing the Shaka. What is this? Is that what you mean? Okay.
Cool.
Thank you so much, guys. It's very much appreciated. Sorry, yes, where were we? Jack Frost, this is the second time. Oh god, another super... Oh my gosh, guys, you need to slow down. Thank you so much for your blood sacrifice, Vision Films. I can't stay long, but thank you so much. Happy holidays to you too.
Happy holidays.
Okay, where were we? Sorry. It's a good interruption, don't worry. I think this is probably the third time I've seen Jack Frost. For some reason, and it's so funny because of like the whole, he's almost like indestructible, being the snowman that's resurrected. Yeah. And I feel like that's what he's like in horror, in the horror community, because it really does feel like I can't get away from this film. Like, there's just a reason I watch it every year for something, and it's definitely not my own doing. This is not my kind of film. I don't know if you feel the same.
Okay.
How many times have you seen it?
I think probably the same. Like,
yeah,
definitely. I think at least 3 times for sure.
Yeah, and I can't imagine it being one of your favies by any means.
No,
or is it?
No. No. It's definitely not. I mean, it's for one scene, which we'll get into, but it's definitely not my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we want to start?
Yeah, that's a good thing. So I guess maybe, I guess the main thing that I want to touch on, which both of these films play off, and any kind of horror Christmas me. I'm like, what's Christmas? Halloween again? Any horror Christmas movie definitely talks a lot about the innocence gone wrong of Christmas, and that's why we have like evil Santas, evil snowmen, all that kind of stuff. So I definitely think that this film takes that to the extreme, and the starting, I guess, the narration at the start is telling a Christmas story, and then it just gets completely out of hand, and this little girl's like freaking out, which obviously is like a voiceover of some a man is doing a little kid's voice. It's really poor.
The worst thing.
Yeah, but it really sets up the humor for the whole film, and it's all like sexual puns, and it's got that juxtaposition between being this innocent kind of story and meant to be about this beautiful snowman, gone wrong. And I don't know, it's like they do the same thing in like Ginger Dead Man, and I mean most of like even like Krampus. I guess Krampus is the bad guy, but it's a whole thing about innocence of Christmas gone wrong. That's horror though, that's what we do with dolls and creepy children and all that. So they definitely play off that with Christmas, I find. Not that that's really controversial, but it's just something to keep in mind, because that's like what the whole thing is based around. And I think that's probably why a lot of people are not against, but I could imagine, especially this film, being kind of not semi-controversial, because it's like, something that should be aimed at children gone wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's mostly for, I mean, I don't know if when you were looking into it, it's at least when you look up like controversial Christmas movies, I feel like this one isn't really brought up as much because it's really just one scene that is kind of like, I mean, there's a lot of like offhand comments throughout the movie that are definitely like misogynistic and things like that. And, you know, like your typical, like most of the female characters don't really have anything to do in the movie. But it's really one scene, which do you want to get into it?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll let you describe it.
Yeah, content warning for rape. That's what we're about to talk
Sexual
about.
assault.
Sexual assault.
Same thing.
Yeah. Sorry for
no, but you know, it's going to be demonetized anyway. Don't worry about it.
That's true. So just a content warning, really quick. But so the scene that most people talk about in this movie, and I feel like it gets advertised the most every time like I see a video for this, they like use like a image of this scene, which I find very strange, is the scene where Shannon Elizabeth's character, whose name is Jill, Jill, is basically assaulted to death by Jack in a bathtub scene, where she's taking a bath, which like, I'm sorry, I just got to point out, like she blow dries her hair like right before this scene happens. And,
I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
I did, because I was like, that's offensive to me. She breaks into this house.
Oh yeah, of course. And then she's like ready to get it on, and she's like, yeah, it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah. But so as she's in the bath, the water freezes because Jack can like change his, form at will, and he like rises out of the bathtub with her, and it kind of like when you're watching the scene, it like, if you weren't really paying attention, it kind of just looks like he's smacking her against the wall a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Like, until you notice that his carrot nose is not on his face anymore. And then I think you put it in your notes too. After he's dead, the comment he makes also reinforces.
So it's Christmas came a little early. It's a pun.
That's it. Yeah.
But yeah, interesting on this is because it seems so jarring to how risque the rest of the movie is, especially as well because she's meant to be underage, I believe, because she's like a teenager. I looked it up. She was 23 at the time, but I mean, that makes no difference. So that scene was actually just meant to be the way that they, thank you so much for the super chat, for your, thank you for your, I'm like Nightmare for your blood donation. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you. Very much appreciate that. So it was actually meant to be just the way they died. It was meant to be a kill scene. And then in the edit, the editor actually said to the director, you know what this looks like, because she's being bashed up against the wall and because the carrot's missing. To be honest, I didn't even notice the carrot was missing. It was just like you're watching it and you go, oh my God, is this what's actually happening? And then they put in that, obviously they don't have to worry about dubbing the snowman's not talking at the same time as the scenes. So they're adding that all later anyway. So they decided to add that in and just make it obvious that that's what was happening, and it really does bump up the movie an extra level. It's pretty messed up, to be honest. So it's really disturbing.
It's like I don't know, I feel like that and the other female death we get in this movie are the most violent and drawn out, because I feel like that bathtub scene, like the amount of times he like smacks her against the wall, like lasts way longer than it needs to. What I mean? Like where all the other kills are either kind of like it cuts away, or they're just finding a dead body and we didn't actually see them. But the other female death in the movie is the wife, Sally, of the boy who's murdered. Whose husband is just like an asshole to her. Just an asshole, but she's essentially crucified like on a Christmas tree. Like she like gets choked by the Christmas lights and she has her face beaten in against a bunch of ornaments. And then, again, in a scene that lasts longer than the majority of the other deaths in the movie. And when her body is discovered, one of the deputies says, "You don't reckon that we can keep her up for the 12 days of Christmas then?" Like just so blasé about it. But like all the other death. I just find it like weird.
I know, I didn't pick that up,
are.
so that's super interesting.
Yeah, those are the only two women that die in the movie.
Yeah. And yeah, for me it was like someone has said that she was meant to be 18 in the film, but I did feel like it was very sexualizing of her as well as the teenager. They make it seem like Jill, and I believe the boy is Tommy. It's always Tommy.
It really is,
yeah, they're like stereotypical like horny teenagers, which I guess is nothing different, especially for movies around this time. So makes sense. I don't know if that's offensive. It's just like it's a bit much. Like, of course, there's the sexualization of teenagers. They have to throw that in there. But again, I did look up. I did the math. Did you know that there is a calculator online, and everyone will find this interesting in their own life? You can put in someone's date of birth, and then you can put in any date to see how old they were at that date. So you don't have to do the math.
Oh.
And it changed my life forever.
I love technology.
I know. I was like, I can't do the math on this. And I was like, I'm sure there's such a thing as like an age calculator. Anyway, so there you go. Learn something new, guys. Yeah, the thing I really wanted to talk about in this, I have not seen Jack Frost from 1998. Have you seen it?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Neither.
So this is really interesting because I was looking up this, and there's a whole article about the similarities between the two films. So obviously in the 1997 one, which is the horror, it is about a man, a killer called Jack Frost, and the same thing in the remake, which is Michael Keaton, but he is, he's like a rock star and same thing, he gets resurrected into a snowman because of this magical harmonica. Different situation, but same thing. It's very interesting because even though the first one from 1997 is a horror, and the one from 1998 is like adventure comedy family movie, they both have the full name Jack Frost. They both are resurrected into snowman. They both can change their form. Both of them die or in a car related accident. I know it's a little bit different with the horror movie because it's got to do with whatever chemical they had and all that, fusing them together. Yeah. But they both have an accident in the car that, straight after this is what happens. They both have sexual puns. So in the 1998 version, there's a reference to Jack Frost's snowballs that is intended for the adult audience. There's a couple more. I don't want to get too nitpicky, but I will give you the link just if anyone cares in the chat, if you want to have a look yourself. But yeah, there's a whole heap of similarities between the two, and they were a year apart. So I think if anything, this film was known for being controversial because people may have got them mixed up and picked up the wrong one. Although when you think of the cover for the horror movie Jack Frost, it's that really scary looking, and he's got the sharp teeth. He doesn't look like that in the whole film. I guess that's my complaint.
I know.
He's not scary at all. Yeah. And I remember being a kid and seeing the VHS at the store and being like, that is so scary. But the movie is just clowning around pretty much the whole time, which I think is quite interesting.
It's the least scary, puppet or whatever suit they used for that doesn't really move, and it's just a bunch of close up cutaway shots to make it seem like he is moving and doing stuff. But and they did say in that article that one of the similarities was that they were both creepy looking, but I think no matter what, it's going to be creepy. But Jack Frost isn't a snowman traditionally. No, Jack Frost is who brings the frost on Christmas, right? It's just interesting that they change it. I don't know. I go by there's a really old school cartoon about Jack Frost, and he follows these bears and stuff around the forest and turns. Okay, never mind. It's all me. I love 40s and 50s cartoons, and there's one, and that's how I think of Jack Frost. Jack Frost comes and he paints everything to make it snow. He's not a snowman, so I just think it's weird that they did take the name for both of those films and turn it into a snowman. Yeah. Just me. It's what's the most Christmassy name we can give it them to make it obvious that this is a Christmas movie? Jack Frost. Got it.
Yeah. It's very interesting. What else you got?
That was really it, because I feel like there's nothing much.
Not a lot happens in this film. Yeah. I did have a random fact, which they did not elaborate on. So I'd love to know if anyone knows the story behind this, because I know Ben watched is it Joe Briggs? watched the the Drive.
Oh, Joe
yeah,
Bob Briggs,
yeah. Watched one version with his commentary, I believe. But there was a random fact that an actor who read for the role of Jack Frost pulled a knife at his audition. No explanation on that, so
Okay.
yeah, that's what kind of
Interesting.
level we're dealing with here. So Ben says that the movie was originally supposed to be a $30 million movie directed by Rennie Harlan from Die Hard, or director of Die Hard 2. Yeah. Or producer or director, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Wow.
No, I did read that on IMDb as well. I'm like, I don't even understand how that would look. Because I don't, what's the budget of this as? I have no idea. I did read as well that the last scene where he falls into the antifreeze, sorry, spoiler. We do spoilers here, sorry if we did say that.
Yeah.
These are all spoilers.
We did, yeah.
When he falls into the antifreeze, that was all one shot, like one take, which I thought was like pretty clever. They really nailed that. They weren't going to do the breaking through and falling through the window twice, so good on them.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty good.
Oh, Joe asked, have either of you seen the sequel? I haven't.
No.
I didn't know there was a sequel.
We just keep watching the first one over and over for some reason.
Yeah.
Why have you watched it 3 times?
Well, the first time, obviously, because of the first time. I think this...
No, that's not obvious why. That's not a reason, Vicky.
Because, I'm like, ooh, Killer Snowman. Second time, I think I just had it. I was like wrapping presents or something. So I put a whole bunch of like movies on in the background while I was doing that. And that was just part of it. And then the third time was for this.
There you go. So you did watch it at will.
I did.
Yeah. I think I watched one of my... Oh, Jack Frost 2 is on the beach? Holy crap.
Sounds awesome.
Oh, DC Carter, are you angling at Red Christmas? We already covered that. They said we need a horror Christmas movie filmed in Australia, a different point of view. They did that. It was not good. Go see the stream. I think it's 2 Christmases ago now.
Yeah, I think it was our first.
How insane is that?
Time.
That's how long we've been doing this. This is episode 32. How insane, guys. We've been doing this forever.
Ooh.
Remember to like and subscribe. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep using this, guys. I've never been able to do this before, so please. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people now. I have to use it. Although, we did talk about this. I'm sorry for anyone wearing headphones. Oh, that should be our noise if I ask you if it's offensive. Do you want that one, or do you want an applause, or we got a triangle? I'll do a triangle. I think it's a little bit more calm. Sorry, guys. We're going to do a triangle. So, Vicky, do you find Jack Frost offensive? She's never coming back to hang out with me. Could you imagine if this was in person and I was just like doing all these sound effects? Hey, Dino.
I don't know who you are anymore. Normally I feel like I would say no, this doesn't offend me, but that scene makes me a little bit mad because it's just like, I know it's all like raunchy and stuff, but that seems a little intense for just something that's supposed to be raunchy jokes the whole time. And there was clearly intention to put that in there, so I think a little bit, yes.
Yeah. I would have to say I agree. Vicky's never hanging out with me again. I would have to say, not that I agree with that scene. That scene is yeah, a bit much. But I think if we have to think about it as well, we always obviously really dive into films that have some kind of... We've been doing this for 32 episodes now, and, usually we do 2 films every single episode, so that's what, we've done up to 60 films, so we're really scraping trying to find some controversy, so we have to really think about if we are bothered by things, and I don't think that we're fully bothered by it, but it definitely stands out as something that it doesn't seem right, definitely a sign of the times. Different life, isn't it? You'll have to let us know down in the comments what you guys think. And remember, we do have a poll up. Do we have the link
Yeah, hold on.
I'll find it if you don't find it first.
I got it.
It's a race. It's a race. It's a race. It's a race. Oh my god, where is it?
You got a sound effect for this one?
Are you gonna put it in? Have you done it? I will put a sound effect in. I didn't know what that sound effect was, so I just had to use it. I like that one.
Yeah, it worked really well.
Don't forget to do the pop. Oh my god, I'm so annoying. Do you guys like it? These all come like
Dino
preloaded.
definitely loves the bell.
Yeah,
I was applied to be a DJ.
for sure. Screw horror. I'm just gonna be a DJ. I'll just sit here on YouTube just pressing sound effects. That's what a DJ is, right? Oh my god.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you for putting up with me, guys. Yeah. Okay. Maybe, yeah, I do have an applause, and I should have been using that every time someone does a super chat. So I'll try and remember that.
Yeah.
Better than the bicycle horn, which I haven't used that one yet, but I can imagine.
Oh man. I feel like at the end, whichever sound effects you haven't used, you just have to like marathon them really quick before the stream ends.
Everyone just leaves. I see everyone drop out. Oh, you're so funny. Oh god, we have 59 people in here. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here.
Give us the sound effects.
Yeah, everyone flocked. Everyone's hearing. It's gone. It's all, yeah. It's trending on Twitter. Yeah, I should get horror themed sound effects. I'll work on that. That is a good idea. I would write it down on a notebook. Please remind me later, Mac, in the Discord if you can. Cool. Should we move on to... I'm not posting a sound effect, but should we just move on to our next one, which is Christmas Evil, which we really do, take this down a couple of notches, because we're gone from something that's quite intense comedy to something that's quite intense traumatic. Like, this is a really, really sad movie for me. I don't know if you feel the same. Everyone still wants to hear the bicycle bell. You both are nerds. Yeah. Dark, Katie. Jeepers Creepers, Katie. And this is what a nerd does. You ready? I'll do the bicycle.
I'm ready.
It sounds like a clown, no?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, okay. No sound effects, guys.
Away from the sound effects.
Sorry. 2 people asked, and you know how I feel about peer pressure. Okay. It's too much. Okay.
So,
Thanks for stopping by, Joe. Sorry you have to leave. I'm sure it's because you've got your own duties to do. Okay, yeah, let's get into Christmas Evil, because I'm excited to talk about this one. Yeah.
Christmas Evil. Okay. So really quick, because there's a lot going on in this movie. It follows Harry, who is a toy factory worker, who is mentally scarred as a child upon learning Santa Claus is not real. There's more to it. We'll get into it. It's not just that. But he suffers a nervous breakdown after being belittled at work and kind of just everything, and embarks on a Christmas killing spree. Kind of the short of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so traumatic, huh?
It is.
Yeah. So I guess spoiler alert again if you've just come in. Spoiler alert for this one. And then also, I guess, I don't know, trigger alert, but I don't know what. It's like the whole film seems to be about triggers, really, to be honest. But there is some self-harm for sure. Oh my God, thank you so much, Horror Cash. Thank you for the super chat. Wait, what do you want? We should do, oh no, my cursor's on the wrong screen. I'll get something that's more horror for next time, guys. Thank you so much, Horror Cash. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So where do we want to start with this one? I guess like the best thing to get into it is it's technically like self-harm is at the start of this film when he runs upstairs and he cuts himself. I do think this whole movie is based around the idea of trauma and triggers and bringing that back up, and I think it's quite an important movie as well, and quite different for its time, being 1980, really playing on that. And it's a movie that you think going into it is going to be about this evil Santa Claus, and I believe the director even when he was thinking about this, he was like stoned and he came up with the idea of a Santa Claus holding a knife. I believe that's the story.
Yeah.
And that's where he got this film from. But it doesn't really like match up to the whole vibe of it because it's taken quite seriously. And what I like about it is it's from the protagonist's point of view, but also they're almost like a villain. But it's definitely seeing them lose grip on their reality and spiral. But at the start, we see the kid, see the mum and Santa, and I feel like there must be more that we didn't see because he is so traumatized. He runs upstairs and he cuts himself with the knife, and it's very eerie. There's obviously we've seen a lot of horror movies, and I'm sure everyone here has, and there's very much like a weird moment in it that it just feels wrong, and that's this whole juxtaposition we were talking about the innocence of Christmas and all that, with something especially almost like being exposed to like sexual conduct, I guess, as a child, the breaking of innocence, and it just feels wrong. And we've seen, you've seen other horror movies that have really extreme themes, and this one just hits differently, I feel like. I don't know if you feel the same.
Yeah. Well, I think it is because of it's set during Christmas. I think that makes it a little bit more intense because, I mean, you see Harry at the beginning with his brother, and you can they're watching we all understand it's the kid's dad dressed up as Santa, like obviously, and he's like putting on
sorry, we did mention
like,
that. Good catch there, Vicky.
He's putting on like a whole little show like leading up to this, and the kids are like, they're obviously into it, and the mom's like playing it up, like, and Harry obviously still believes in Santa Claus, which is partly what makes it so traumatic also when he sneaks back downstairs and sees what he sees. But I think it's pairing it with Christmas, which is usually such like a, like happy season, but there's a lot, I mean, it's not always like that. We all understand that there's a lot of, sadness, there's a lot of annoyance, there's a lot of things that make it unhappy, but I think it's that like loss of innocence at such a young age on Christmas also, when it's like, I feel like childhood innocence is at its peak. Like, you believe in Santa, you're supposed to be good, and Santa brings you something, and then you see Santa do something naughty
that you don't understand probably as well.
Right, and you don't really understand what's happening, and you see like your mom, and you see who you think is a strange man, because they set this up with Harry obviously believing that that's Santa Claus, and he goes down and sees that, and that's scary enough in and of itself. But like you said too, I think he did see something more. Like in the movie, you just kind of see him
smooching the leg.
His mom.
Yeah. It's weird.
But it is a very weird, and it lasts for a long time, which again, I think kind of makes you think that he saw something else that the movie just doesn't show.
Sorry, I just want to thank George. Sorry. For your blood sacrifice. Thank you so much. There's just something weird and off about it. It's just very effective as well, I feel like. That you feel like you see more. It's almost like, the whole Texas Chainsaw, like you feel like you see more than you actually see because of how the emotion is like provoked in it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good telling of how not understanding other people who have, mental health issues and understand. I think it's like a really good lesson on like triggers and things like that, because, not all of us have the same understanding of what and why something would happen, but as you can see it coming from the first person point of view, you can see how affected he is. And you see this when he's shaving his beard at the start, and or shaving his face, and he gets that cut, and it takes him back to that moment where he was like cutting his hand, and it was that's like a clear transition of like the trigger, and that it's just so intense. And we just have no idea. I like it because it's so complex as well. We have no idea what kind of psychological damage that has done, but obviously it's changed his whole life and really affected him in a way that he doesn't think that anyone believes him and believes the thing of Santa and magic and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few moments like that really drive that home. The cutting of the face too, and the scene that always sticks out to me too is when he's applying the beard, and he's like pulling on it, and it's like he really feels like it's part of his face now. And I feel like, oh, that's such like a, every time I think about this movie, I think about that scene. That's such like a a chilling scene, and you can see in his face too. I think like we just got to point out the actor who plays him does a phenomenal job, I think.
And there's really like at that point it's also no turning back, I feel like. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and that's like part of it too, like he can't pull the beard off anymore. It's like stuck to his face, so it's like we're going down this road now.
Yeah,
which is just
it's a lot.
a lot, and that just starts off the movie.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of, we've kind of like covered so much that I've already said. I think something interesting about the movie is that people said that this film was kind of the reason they got the budget and everything to be able to do this film is because Halloween came, a couple of years before, and obviously that showed how successful horror movies can be, which it's just so crazy that they would relate them to. But anyway, they were saying that, and they said that it had to do with being more horror movies being made, obviously, after Halloween. But the director was pretty quick to kind of say, well, to me, this isn't really like a slasher movie. And when you think about the movie called Christmas Evil about a Santa running around killing people, you do think it's a slasher movie, but obviously it's more of a psychological movie. But the director, he wrote it before, I believe it was before Halloween. He said he wrote it years before because he's the writer and director. And he said it was more of a tale of Frankenstein, which I thought was quite interesting because it's like the misunderstood monster created by society, which I thought was like, really shows, what his intentions were.
Interesting. Yeah, it is true because he does act very childlike too. I feel like the beginning of the movie, when we were first introduced to him as an adult, he gets up and he's like, and he has like these festive, Christmas pajamas. He turns on Christmas music. You see like toys and that like Santa shrine he's got going on, which is an interesting in and of itself, that he's clearly not scared.
Yeah, no, I thought that too.
Yeah, it's like he is worships him almost, or he's just like so fascinated by it, which I thought was super interesting.
Thank you for your blood sacrifice. Sorry, we'll do the little one. Thanks, Dino. Merry Christmas. But no, as you were saying that, I felt the same in that too, because I thought that was a really interesting and strange moment, knowing that he wasn't traumatized. But I think it speaks to the complexity of mental illness and how it can come in different forms and how it's very misunderstood unless, it's all particular. It's not like black and white. And I think that's why it's such a good example of it.
Yeah, it doesn't manifest the same in everybody. And in his case, it's like, I almost feel like he's trying to get back that innocence that he lost. Like, he's so enamored with Christmas still. And he is so, especially enamored with the idea of Christmas as it's like, quote unquote, supposed to be. Like everybody's supposed to be good all year and, not have impure thoughts and things like that. But so like at first you're kind of like, okay, maybe I understand that a little bit. You empathize with him, I think, for most of the movie, but I mean, you do empathize with him, and then you start to slowly see the cracks as he encounters more and more just, garbage things that happen like at his work and things like that. And you see how deep this trauma goes when he's doing stuff like watching the children across the street with his binoculars, and he keeps like that record, the naughty book and the nice book, and like you can tell he's clearly been doing this like all year, like watching them and writing down things that they've done, like look at porn magazines, which I just find a strange scene that he looks in a window and sees like kid doing that.
Yeah, it's also interesting to think because obviously he's like we go from him being a kid to straight into, I guess he's like 40s. It's very interesting to think of that time in between, like all of his like pivotal moments in his life, especially being a teenager and actually being involved in, I don't know, like coming of age activities and things like that, and how that affected him. Like you just see him kind of flash to there and you just wonder how he coped through his whole life, especially because this shouldn't be the triggering moment, because it should have been every year must be Christmas. Like what brought it to this moment that he finally let up, because it seems like he's worked in that toy store for years and all that kind of stuff, so it's quite interesting.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, you do wonder like what it is. And I feel like I don't know, maybe the movie doesn't give you an exact answer. Maybe it's more just like a culmination of everything. It's just been building and building up until this point, and it just becomes too much. Because you have to assume there's crappy people every year at Christmas that
Yeah. Yeah.
encounters.
But you also think like he had this traumatizing situation with Santa. Like what happened straight after that, you know? Like, and what happened with his mom? And I don't know. It's just like, yeah, there's so many questions, but I guess it's quite a simple story, but it's just shown in such a extreme, like really thoughtful way, I think, put together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had some notes about the party, which I think are quite important, like more the workplace situation, I guess, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Touching on something we talked about earlier, how, like the juxtaposition of like that is inherent. And I feel like most holiday horror movies that, it's like the happiest season ever. Everyone's all like joyful and giving in this. And then there's, we all know that there's like sadness and, not good things also. And the, holiday horror movies play on that. And I like how this movie kind of does a little bit of all of that, like, with like the stress of like crowded stores, family drama, spending all this money on presents. In particular, like in his workplace, you have stuff that you see all the time, like kind of like this, I guess, like, I don't know if you'd call it like performance activism, but he has like one of his coworkers, I guess. I don't know if it's like one of his bosses or one of his coworkers.
It's confusing, isn't it?
It is confusing. He creates like this charity drive for their company at Christmas time, but when he's hearing him talking about it, it's all just for business, and he doesn't actually care or like really know anything about like the charity they're donating to or anything like that, and it's all just performance. And I find it interesting that he attacks this man and his family as they're leaving church, which I don't know, I feel like hit me in a certain spot as somebody who works in retail. Like I sometimes get a little bit jaded and a little bit extra angry at people that, spend thousands and thousands of dollars on all these toys and stuff like that, and, go to church and do whatever, but they, don't give anything back at Christmas time. So I feel like I kind of related to that on some level in like deep dark part of my soul. And also the other party, which is interesting too, where he just kind of gets drawn into this party of random people because he's dressed as Santa, and they see him in the window and drag him in. Which is a really weird scene. I remember the first time I saw this movie, I kind of like really didn't understand the point of it, but I do like it how it nods at traditions that, in a lot of the holidays around this time of year that are low-key kind of scary when you think about them. Like, if you think about Santa too hard, it's a man that is supposedly coming into your house and watches you all year round to see if you're good or bad. But you really see Harry like in his element there, and he keeps talking about like his tune that he's got to get right and other people can hear, and this is like what he wants Christmas to be. But he has like a really scary moment like right at the end, right before he leaves the party, where he's talking to the children and saying, if you're good, I'll bring you something nice, and if you're bad, I'm gonna bring you something terrible, which I just
the delivery,
word choice there.
And the delivery, because he's like, and if you're bad, and then he just stands there for like a minute, and even the parents are like, oh, this is getting a bit sinister. Yeah,
I love that where they cut away to a few of the adults and they look kind of worried, and then he starts laughing, and then they're kind of like, oh, okay, I guess it's okay. But it's I just love that, I guess, as somebody who gets a bit jaded this time of year, I like that juxtaposition of like the creepiness and like the evilness of it that I feel like I encounter every year.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying in the comments that it's kind of like the Joker, like it sounds like the Joker, and I would completely agree.
I see that a lot, especially since that movie came out in reviews. Like it's the Joker but Christmas.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. It's something innocent, like a clown, and just like a Santa, like switched. And and seeing, yeah, I mean, obviously the Joker doesn't have a lot to do with kids, thank God. But that's, yeah, it's something just, yeah. And the thing that I really like about this film as well is that he puts on this Christmas, like, jolly Santa laugh. And it just draws the line from being like this meant to be this jolly, joyful thing, but because you know the sadness behind him, it sounds like manic. Like it's just this insane, like it gives you chills just hearing it. Yeah. It's so interesting following it from his perspective, because usually, I mean, The Joker is, another film that does that, but that's only a newer film. Obviously, this is from 1980, and I just... kind of blown away by the way that they encourage that. I do wonder how much the Joker was inspired in some remarks to this. It has to be when you think about it, but maybe, but it's it's always interesting following the villain along, but he's not really a villain, and it's just a lot. Should we talk about the ending?
I feel like that's I know Dino mentioned it earlier too. The ending is something. Yeah, I guess just another quick spoiler alert, just in case we're about to tell you what happens. Essentially, Harry's getting chased by a bunch of
angry
parents
mob.
An angry mob. Yeah,
that they stop to like light torches and stuff. It's so weird.
It really, legitimately, it's like
we're gonna run him out. Let's just go home and get those torches first.
The image that you get in your head when you think angry mob, like the pitchforks and torches, that's almost literally exactly what this is. In the middle of the suburb in the 80s, if you can imagine. But Harry escapes in his van, and he runs off the road off a bridge, and the movie ends with his van that, of course, like has a sleigh painted on the side, flying into the air. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, so he kind of goes through this like fence thing, and you just think it's gonna fall. So there's a lot of talk about what this actually means, and a lot of people say it's like him actually ending his life, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's not like he's running away from a mob. It's not like this intentional, sacrifice or anything like that. He's obviously he's going out with a bang or whatever. But I do subscribe to the theory that he died, and it's like what he wants to see, and because it even becomes a thing where people are watching and they're like, oh, we should have believed him, like. He was right, and there is magic in the world because it's what he wants. But there's also like this other theory same theory, but about him dying at the end, that there's this bang that happens, and people believe it's a crash, but people say it's just a sound effect that people read wrong. But I never hear it, but I've read that before. But it is like quite a magical moment, and almost like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh God, I was going to say another film, but I don't want to like obviously ruin a different film. But I do think, that's a magical moment where you think, that would be the end, and then something happens, and it's just like so interesting compared to the vibe of the story, and the feeling of the movie is like so dark and rotten and sad, and then this magical thing happens at the end that it can't be real, and therefore I don't believe it's real. Thank you so much for your blood sacrifice. Thank you so much. I think that it's probably the perfect ending as well, because it's almost sadder, and that's the whole thing. The film uses these little moments to make you feel almost more creepy because it's not what you expect, and it lets you do your own conclusion, which I think is really cool. But there's a couple of films that, have that magical moment at the end that something happens. There's a big movie that I can't mention. It's like an action kind of adventure movie. But yeah, it's just so interesting, isn't it? And I guess the Joker as well, because even people say, spoiler of Joker, people say, I'm not going to say what happens, but people say that the ending of the Joker can be interpreted as being in his head or actually happening. So yeah. Which, I mean, I think there's a lot of theories about that movie though, but what did you think about the ending?
I think I'm kind of in the camp also that just assumes that he dies, and we just don't see that moment that's kind of happening in his head, and maybe it's just kind of like he has that feeling of prolonged like being in the air for that long, and that's what we're like seeing him imagining, just being in the air for longer than he is. I did see a blog post that suggested the ending of the movie was controversial, although I could not find that opinion anywhere else. So I assume it's just the opinion of the person writing the the post. That the ending is controversial because it appears that the director is giving Harry some sort of like redemption at the end, like after all this awful stuff that he's done. Like I said, I can't find any mention of it anywhere, but I guess question to you and the audience: do you feel like that redeems him a little bit, because he clearly has, at least I read it as like relief on his face at the end, not so much like joy, like he's finally whatever, but it's more like relief, like he's like kind of at peace.
Yeah, which I feel like just plays into the fact that he would have died. Because obviously he was just suffering so much. And then I guess you can think of it as well from his perspective. If we're seeing everything through his eyes as him as the main character, maybe we're not seeing the true nature of everything that happened. What if we were seeing it completely, even more sugar-coated than it was? Quite interesting, because that would play into the fact with the trauma at the start, us not seeing exactly what happened, just cutting to him running upstairs to him kind of blacking that out. So maybe seeing the end is just seeing that through his point of view. Anyway, there's so much to this film. It's just I watched this a couple years ago, I think for 12 Days of Christmas or something like that, and I liked it at the time, but I was just kind of like really disturbed by it. But having a second watch of this one, I rated it pretty high. What did you rate it, if I can ask?
I think, I don't have it pulled up, but I think a 4. It's got to be like a 4 or something.
Wow.
5, I think.
Yeah. I think I did a 7. Like but yeah, it's a pretty amazing film. It really is. Yeah. And
I actually saw your Rotten Tomatoes review of it when I
was it on there? Yay!
It was definitely your older one.
Oh no, I have messed it up.
It doesn't fully match what you said here, but that's okay, because that was like what you said, like years ago. So I mean,
my opinion does change, and that's what sucks, especially about the Rotten Tomato, because they put that in. I love you say tomatoes. I say tomato. Because they put that in automatically, so I can't like adjust that unless I redo a whole video, which sucks. But that I remember liking it. I was just very shocked by it and didn't expect it. But I guess that's what's good about it.
Yeah.
I guess we have to wait. I need to ask you. Wait, what sound effect did we use? I can't even remember. I think with this one, the triangle. Hey, Vicky, did you find this film offensive?
No. I can't say I have. It's very tragic story for sure, very sad. I haven't experienced anything like that in real life, so I can't like speak to how it deals with like triggers or trauma really, but I don't think it is. I just think it's a super sad and dark movie.
Yeah, I mean, wait. Now turn the page. Doesn't it sound like that? No, I agree. I actually really like it. I think it's a good representation of triggers. Obviously, I don't have the same ones or anything like that, but it's a good representation to people who don't understand. And I think that's really great for the 80s, because that's definitely the period where a lot of people in watching horror movies, there was no... nothing was off limits, there was so much violence and traumatic things and sexual assault scenes. So it's really nice to see something visited, and also for a male perspective, I actually really like that. Showing the anxieties and trauma for a man, I think, is really important and super interesting. So I really liked that one.
Awesome.
I guess we need to look at if anyone hasn't done the poll, go check that out. Do we have the link again? I don't know. Do we even put the link in there? Yeah, we did. I won't do a sound effect.
Okay, there's the link one more time.
Yeah, thank you.
If anyone wants to get a last second vote in. Ben said the main actor is Fiona Apple's dad.
I did not know that.
Me neither.
That is bizarre. That is bizarre. Yeah.
Interesting.
And thanks everyone for coming. Just before we wrap up while everyone's doing the poll, don't forget to like and subscribe. But also, Vicky's all Vicky's info is down below. If you haven't checked out Nightmare Maven, Vicky, my friend Vicky here. If you haven't checked out her channel, please do. And I've got her Twitter and everything there. But you will be super happy with her content. If you like what I'm doing, I'm sure you'll love Vicky as well. We have similar tastes sometimes not. But that's what's fun. That's what we like. It keeps the conversation going. And if you do ever have... Sorry, what was that?
I was just saying it makes it spicy.
Yeah. If you do ever have any recommendations for Does This Offend You, let us know. But we do have a pretty big backlog. As I said, this is episode 32. So if you're just tuning in, I probably should have said this at the start because I do notice we have more viewers than we usually have. I don't know. But if you're like newly subscribed to me, we do this every month and we alternate channels. So if you follow me or Vicky, both of us, on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that, we always post when we have one coming up. So usually it's around this time once a month. So the next one will be on Vicky's channel. So yeah, just keep updated with that. And we try and change up the theme. But obviously during December, it's so easy to do Christmas movies. But yeah, if you ever have one, yeah, let us know.
Let us know. We'll add it to our list and probably ignore the list and do your idea. So, which is what we normally do.
We're always just talking. We have a chat. Yeah, we have a chat afterwards and we go, wait a minute, this is a genius idea.
Yep.
Okay. So what is the result? Okay. Do you want to read the result?
Yeah. So the poll, like we ask every time, just for shits and gigs, you guys, if you have to pick which one is more offensive between the two movies we're discussing, you guys voted 72% to Jack Frost and 28% to Christmas Evil, which kind of surprised. I don't know. I thought it was gonna go the other way.
I think it's the sexual assault scene in Jack Frost for sure. But I don't know if more people have seen Jack Frost, it seemed. So maybe that's also it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I voted, and I voted for Jack Frost. I always vote so I can see the result, you know. Yeah, I voted for Jack Frost. But
I don't know where Jack Frost is on. Because I got it. I think I have the DVD.
It's on Amazon. I watched it on Amazon. I can watch it on Amazon here. So most countries, because our Prime list is very small compared to America. But yeah, you can watch Jack Frost if you want to. Probably wouldn't recommend on Prime, and you can watch Christmas Evil on Shudder. They even have it on Shudder in Australia, so that's good. But it's called.
You don't have a Shudder.
It's also called You Better Watch Out, though. So keep that in mind if you pull it up. Ben's suggesting some oh my god, I'm not watching Headless. Oh my god, have you seen Headless? Turn it off half.
Never heard of this.
It's a reference to an oh my god, it's too much. It's like a movie within a movie that they made to reference a movie, and it's too much for me. Anyway, thank you all for joining us today. Vicky, what do you got coming up?
I have a review of a new movie that's coming out on video on demand, Climate of the Hunter. So,
oh yeah, I saw your yeah. I saw that Vicky has it because I'm one of her Patreons, so I saw that she has early access. And I'm so excited because I have my review of Promising Young Woman. Come with me to the movies, and that comes out tomorrow, which I think people will be excited about. But if you aren't watching my 12 Days of Christmas, I promise it's fun. Lots of banter between me and my partner. Some grommet. So please go back and watch them if you haven't, so I know whether to do them next year. But without further ado, thank you guys so much for being here. Applause to you when I can find the button. Sorry. Yay. Thank you guys so much for being here. And we'll see you soon. And yeah, thanks for being here. Anything else, Vicky?
Okay.
That's it?
No.
Thanks, guys. Bye.